Hi, Moon Title here with Presence Heals and the Women's Wellness Circle, coming to you from the Adirondacks on our warmest day yet thus far. The peepers are peeping and the birds are building nests, and it's really beautiful. I wanted to come on today to talk a little bit about purpose and my experience in relationship with purpose and my experience supporting other people in their purpose. So for me, I always had a sense from when I was, from whenever I can remember, from when I was really small, a sense of a purpose kind of deep inside me, a sense of a spiritual purpose, a sense of being alive at a very powerful and transformational and transitional time on this beautiful earth that we share. And I always had this sense that was kind of driving me from the inside, this compass of healing and spiritual growth and human connection and animal and plant connection and life connection. And yet I didn't have a clear sense of, oh, this is what this is going to look like. Someone that I knew when I was small, had this sense when she was a very little girl, she's a few years younger than me, that she wanted to be a vet. And she talked about it ever since she was little. And I have another friend who wanted to be a dentist. So they had this very strong, clear, specific sense of purpose. And that's what they've done. For me, my sense of purpose didn't take a form. It was this kind of drive that I felt inside. And when I was younger, in my 20s and my early 30s, I'd say my experience of purpose took a real kind of yang or masculine fire quality. I moved to a Dharma center and lived there for 8 years and completely devoted myself to spiritual practice. And that was a real fire time of my life. It was also, I was living in Arizona, which is a very fiery place, and I had that outward drive. And one thing I noticed, especially during the time that I was in 3-year retreat, is that when when we know what we're doing and we know what's most important to us. So in 3-year retreat, I knew that the most important thing to me at that time was practicing meditation for the purpose of attaining enlightenment and benefiting all beings. And I knew that the form that was taking was through 4 sessions of meditation a day. And so all of my activities, what I ate, if I had a little exercise or took a shower or went to the bathroom or occasionally wrote a letter to someone in my family, all of my activities were in support of how am I going to be when I show up to my cushion in an hour, so that I'm well set up to meditate and meditate well. And one of the things that I hadn't anticipated before going into retreat was, or hadn't really fully noticed or been aware of, maybe aware of cognitively, but not viscerally, not in my body, not a felt sense awareness. In modern life, we have a lot of choices, most of us. Some of us don't. I realize that. But many of us have a lot of choices. Um, Many of us have the choice of, okay, what am I going to have for breakfast today? Am I going to wear my blue shirt or my green shirt, for example? And for those, with the privilege of being able to go on vacation, where do I want to go on vacation this year, for example? Or, people who have the privilege of going to college, where might you like to go to college? Where are you going to get in? I mean, there's a lot of different interrelationships, and we all have less and more privilege in various areas of our lives. So I'm speaking to the areas where there are choice. And one of the powerful things I didn't anticipate about 3-year retreat was all of those many, many choices were gone. Well, that I knew, but this sense of how much more energy was freed up because I didn't have any decisions to make in the day. I ordered my groceries once a week, and so the food that was there was the food that was there. And my schedule was the same every day. I got up at the same time, started meditating at the same time, ate my breakfast at the same time, um, and everything, was in a very smooth rhythm. Um, without choices. The big choice I made was to go into 3-year retreat. And what I noticed is it freed up a lot of life force energy that I hadn't been aware was going to all of these different possibilities and permutations. And another thing that happens when we are aligned with a powerful sense of purpose in that way is that all hardships along the way, they just melt and fold into our purpose. So when we're experiencing hardships in life and we don't have a sense of meaning and purpose, it becomes really hard to traverse those hardships because the why, it's like the why am I getting up every day? Why am I going through this difficult experience? Like the why is not there. And you notice that, I'm sure you've had experiences where you have lots of energy and you're really excited about the day, and then maybe something comes along that, kind of deflates your sails and takes the wind out of your sails, and you feel maybe like you're kind of slogging through a swamp, or like your energy just drains out your feet. And then it's like you can't possibly get up the energy to do what you need to do because you're not that aligned with it. You're not feeling that joyful with it. And now all of life isn't, woo, the wind just blew. You can probably hear the chimes. Let me get my camera stable. You know, I, and some people may disagree with this with me, but I am a Buddhist. So I'm going to say, like, all of life is not joyful. There's many things we have to do that we may not choose to do, that may not be how we want to spend our time or spend our energy and so on. And there's suffering that happens that's beyond our control, fires and floods and earthquakes and the death of people that we love and global pandemics and divorces, and you don't get into a program you want to get into, or the house that you wanted to live in, and many, many other difficulties, down to the hardships of not having enough food to eat, not having health care, and all of the many difficulties that are experienced by humans around the globe, or by animals who don't have the choice of living in an environment impacted by the choices that we've made. So there's a lot of hardship. And there's a lot of joy, right? Life is both. And so what I find is what carries me through the hardships is having a sense of meaning and purpose, because otherwise it begins to feel futile. And so after my time in the Dharma Center, I underwent many years of severe illness. And in that time, I felt really disconnected from my purpose. And I'd say my purpose was still there, kind of deep in my being, but it wasn't present in my days, and it wasn't present in what was available to me in what I could be doing. And so there are many different forms of purpose. One of the women in our community recently said, when we were talking about purpose, she recently shared, that she had some resistance to exploring purpose because she led, excuse me, a very driven and purposed life. And that was part of what brought her to be sick, was following that purpose in a way that she wasn't able to tend to the needs of her body and her emotional life and so on. And so she expressed a hesitation about exploring purpose. And I think there's many different forms of purpose. So we had this really beautiful conversation because I was just talking about the time of my life with this young purpose, with this really focused, fiery intention. And then there's the purpose of just being, and the purpose of just kind of uncovering who we are and what brings us joy. So I think purpose really, it moves all the way across the spectrum, from something you want to accomplish and work towards, something that's inside you, that's driving you and pulling you along, to a gentle intention to just cultivate joy and just be. So some days my purpose is to just enjoy bathing in the sun and sitting with the water and listening to the peepers and letting that wash through me. And so yeah, I don't exactly know kind of where I am sort of in my relationship to purpose. Like, if to distill it, I think it's um, my purpose is an ever evolving river. And some days there is that kind of, something's pulling me from inside in a direction, and other days it's just being, and I allow myself to move with the cycles um, of my purpose, and to embrace the times of stillness and quietness, and embrace the times of um, the fire times of this drive, and this, I'm going to get this done, and I'm going to accomplish this. And I'd say, it's all one and the same. My deepest purpose that I came here with that's inside me is to midwife and support this transition that we're on planet Earth, and to um, help our hearts heal, the heart of humanity and our individual hearts and our relationships with the web of life and with each other. There are a variety of methods, including ceremony and healing and joy and music, and connection with nature. And I love to support others in connecting with their purpose. I don't think that any purpose is greater or smaller than another. What I love to do is support people to listen deeply to the streams of their own being, listen deeply to the currents that have been flowing through them throughout their whole lives. And some people's, those currents change a lot. You have really changeable, um, like a changeable nature, and that's beautiful. So I love to sit with people and listen for the currents and listen for the threads and be open to them changing and evolving, and also to support you in clearing out the blocks, the limiting beliefs, the fears, the ancestral wounds and memories, the developmental wounds from this lifetime, everything that's in there that prevents you from connecting with who you are and having a sense of what is your why. Why are you getting up out of bed today? Why do you go to sleep tonight? Why do you eat lunch? What brings you joy? And what is it that carries you through the hardships and gives you a sense of purpose, meaning, flow, and direction in your life? So I'd love to hear from you about your relationship with purpose in this time. And I think the last thing I just want to say is I really view our relationship with purpose as it's a journey. So it's not about getting anywhere. It's really about traveling through and listening to the mystery and the magic of all of our beings. Okay. Wishing you many blessings on this day. And if you want to explore and connect more with your purpose, reach out, and there will be some links below in the chat for how to do that.